Hey, good people, how are you? Yep, it's ad hoc stream. Let's push it through all the Twitter guidelines and get everybody on board. So a little bit of a special day for HVF Method. It's HVF Method's birthday today. And yep, we are going to have a wee chat to you about what's gone on in the crypto markets today. So welcome. Join me on this stream. I'm going to push it out through the Twitter so we can get a few numbers. We appreciate likes and shares. That helps us. We do a non-monetized channel here. So join us. Currently live on Binance token is going to be one of the key things I'm talking about. Yep, you heard me right. Currently live on BNB token, and also the role Bitcoin and Ethereum will play in this. The role in Bitcoin and Ethereum will play on this. So watch now and jump on board. Anybody drop us a few questions if you like. I won't do too many requests. I'm not going to make it the longest stream in the world, but I want to have a quick check-in with you because we've been calling for the great alt season. We've been calling for the great alt season, when it was going to come, etc., etc. And now I believe largely that we have evidence that some of it has taken hold. And as a result, just want to check in with you all on that fact, and hoping that some of you are actually making a little bit of coin during this period. So it's been a combination of ADA and a combination of Binance token that have been really at the forefront of our minds. We've actually streamed quite a bit. We've suggested there's a big alt run coming that's going to be quite substantial. There's quite broad spectrum of support for all number of alts. So a lot of guys that have been, a little bit in here, a little bit in here, a little bit of Nano, a little bit of this. There's been setups across the board. Theta, people have got excited about. We called Theta out some time ago. You might remember it's just continued to run. There's some setup structure in terms of HVF Method, and our community are very well prepped in all the best setups that we've been able to check out. And I also just wanted to touch base with everyone in terms of this. So great to see a number of you guys. Great to see Johan Buerta. Daar's 'n lekker naam daai. Ek is bly om jou te hê hier so, Johan. Aangenaam, Opel. ETH, bullish news. Yes. Bullish news for ETH. We also had Goldman Sachs coming out, a little bit bullish on the Ethereum side of things. And also, they mentioned Binance Smart BSC chain as well. So the big mover has been the Binance guys. Audio was awesome last week, says Google, Google Joe Black, good Joe Black. Thank God it's not Google. MAGA 2020 reset video. Man, I've got like 47 browsers open on things I have to cover in reset. To do reset, I'm going to need to do a 5-hour to skip past everything, and you're going to have 15 parts to watch on it, and it'll be very, very lengthy to do. I really need the value of being able to do a quick hit live stream, and for that we're getting pretty close on reset numbers for the 10K minimum that YouTube to allow a live stream. So please share reset sniper. Please reset sniper. Christine, nice to see you. We've been stocking up on the girls in our community. Thank God for that. All that toxic masculinity. Thank you for coming on board, girls. Thanks for trusting us with your money. Thanks for trusting us with your energy, and enjoy the path of learning and building wealth. It's here for you too. You can do it too. So delighted to have them, number of the ladies, and it's great to have you. Make your presence felt as well. Don't be shy. Don't sit in the background in the community halls. We've got a few stalwarts that are contributing on a regular basis in our community. So welcome, guys. So kind of it's the birthday of HVF Method today. Hooray! I've decided this is its official birthday. So it's our trading method that is pretty damn unique and is entirely self-originated and only available here. Thank God. That way we can't be ripped off. That's why we're getting cloned so much nowadays. Do you know, I had to pitch up on Moscow 24 to say that I had no knowledge of a certain individual who was saying he knew me, that my name was Mark, and that I'd trained him, and he had a personal hotline to me, and he was out scamming half of Russia. So It seems we're getting about the place now. I'm not quite sure how that happened. But anyway, glad to have you all. Nice to see Asito, Rusuko, always regular in there, jumping on. Tofa Darling, staking BNB on Trust Wallet, he says. BNB, put your hands up if you're in BNB. Courtesy of the Crypto Sniper channel. That's it. One of the best structures you can hope to have for the upside. Of course, our premium guys were in earlier, and they've been stalking it with us all throughout it all, and are probably the heaviest in. They've been hearing from me a couple of times a day. On most days, a little bit of a lazy day today. Went and ate steak. I think we're going to have a really, really good alt run, guys. But there's a but in there. There's a but, and it's a little bit of a but in and around what Bitcoin does next and what Ethereum might do next, particularly Bitcoin. It is the boss. Hello, love BNB. Thanks, says Piotr. Good. I'm glad you're in it. I'm glad you're making green. John Berta bags, he says he's got bags of it. Only BTC and ETH for me, says the Great Closet. Yep. The big boys are the big boys. But it's harder to move the big boys, and there is new innovation. I am not a monotheist. I do not think there is one coin for one solution that will fit all. So there will be scope as this huge arena broadens out. Your new financial system is busy being laid out in front of you, that there will be plenty of scope for niches to exist and to really run. And some of those niches are pretty fat reams of gold ready to be mined. In fact, store of value is not necessarily the biggest one at all. Yep, glad to have you all. So there's a couple of things I'd really like you to do. If you have low levels of money and financing, but you just want to learn to invest better and be better and build your wealth and assets and protect them, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. Yes, get a bit of protection. Go and hit the link below in this live stream that says free trading course. It's absolutely free. And no, we will never get an email from anyone other than us. That is my integrity promise to you all. Mark my words. You will never get a single item of spam, and you will hear from us generally once a month, if that, on a newsletter for thoughts that have gone on, kind of key thoughts and key findings. So it was a difficult day for silver today, but crypto is a monster. Now, in our premium area, we also gave BitTorrent, BTT. In fact, I'm making more money on it than I'm making on my BNB, but only just. It's obviously a slightly less liquid token. It's a little bit lower down, but it's doing really, really well. Bagged myself. It's about 1/3 of a cent when we got in. So at about 100 million of them. Sounds like a lot, but it works out to not nearly quite as much as it sounds. So it's doing great. It's been a nice one. We would discuss this a lot in our premium community during that period. Strengthening of the dollar. How will this affect crypto? To a degree, but some of these things are so big. This beach ball in the corner of the room still needs Jupiter to move in there. Some of these things, this is a very groundswell moment for crypto, and we've had a lot of letting out of the fluffy hot air on Bitcoin side. However, key point, and there's always terms and conditions, no matter how good a deal sounds. Always wait for the but and the if and the maybes. Think about that when you're dealing with government and banks, particularly, by the way. But anyway, in terms of this run, I'm checking out the charts now, so you're mainly getting me in my dapper jersey, wearing very little else, including no hair. The concern is Bitcoin and Ethereum may make, so Bitcoin, let's get the Bitcoin chart up. Bitcoin may make a relative high to, what we call a relative high to. It is got a little bit of a rising wedge structure, and it's coming into the heavy traffic area. Bitcoin also, by the by, for many of you that don't look at just the BTC chart, that's BTC. That's basically the aggregation of all exchanges. Occasionally, it's worthwhile having that one in. I'm getting more and more sorted and organized on my trading view, thanks to a lot of guys educating me. The teaching goes up, down, and sideways in our community. So many smart guys in there and capable people. I'm glad and delighted to have them all entrusting me to try lead the ship through reset, wealth building during reset times. Yes, oh boy, is it going to come thick and fast. So actually, we're at the 1.09 trillion. So we've just crossed. We're kind of like playing with a 1.1 trillion mark in total market cap for Bitcoin. When we had the dip down, the lows, which I think was around the 51s. I'll get the actual price, but I'm looking at that was around 940 billion. So we've been shimmying a bit above and a bit below. The all-time high, which was in and around the 62K mark, was 1.15 trillion. And then we dipped down to the 940 billion, which is 60 billion under. So we went 15 billion over, 60 trillion under. So we're going to potentially form continuation structure here. And we are quite close to a point where we could be expected to start finding a bit of resistance. So you might have a less good day on your crypto tomorrow than you have today. So if you rush in and chase in the pumps of BNB now, you rush in and chase the pumps of BTT, BitTorrent now, if you start wading in at the relative high points of ADA, and I do think ADA will be not too far behind and will start twitching, but it might have to wait for what Bitcoin does next. It sounds like that movie, What So-and-so Did Next. What was the title of that movie? Can't remember it quite. Anyway, so we're at 1.1. It could get a little toppy and choppy and go sideways. Now, the best alts will probably continue to drift upwards on that, but they might be a little more circumspect. And if Bitcoin has a moderate pull down, sort of falling wedge style, some down legs, little bit of rallies, some down legs, little bit of rallies, your alt season's going to get again put on ice. Remember, it's the 4x4 with the two trailers on the back. You've got 2 points of failure, the trailer on the trailer and the trailer on the 4x4. It takes a lot to reverse those things and go up and turn corners because they can jackknife pretty easy. 2 points of failure makes the alt trading a tad tougher. But when you get it right, you get much bigger potential rewards and runs, and they can happen kind of quick. And they often need to, because the window closes, because there's more things that need to line up with it. So Binance is showing real perkiness and is, for me, the first of a prominent major token to make its move. But as I say, if Bitcoin had a hard pullback, it could come back to what we called our funnel. We've been loading up on Binance most of this period in the 250s up to the 270s. We got a little primer set up. That's a little squeezy Japanesey inside already existing squeezy that led to the 275 break, trotting up to as high as 312, I think, almost, depending on which platform you're in. But now a little bit of a pullback. And I think that is because our God markets, yes, God markets, and that's your 4x4, are slowing down a tad. And that means the trailer can't go too much faster. It can't overtake the 4x4. Otherwise, you're going to be jackknifing. And that's going to take a little bit of puff out of it. But what we do know is that Binance has revealed itself. So it now, for those that haven't bought, becomes an accumulate on the dips if we have a proper pullback on Bitcoin and a moderate pullback even on Ethereum. Now, Ethereum went to sleep for a while after hitting 2,000 and actually was a bit disappointing. And we have an FBTC call out there on a reversal to the upside that has suddenly started to find a bit more life again. So it never died, but it certainly went kind of dead for a while. It certainly went to hibernate, at least. So that one could come back alive. But it's early spring. Its first swallow does not a spring make. But there's evidence that Ethereum could be quite a good performer too. But we particularly like the Binance. We also like the other, as I've mentioned, BTT. We've taken a little bit of a few smaller tokens. It's a little more dangerous there. Watch your liquidity and the values. I've already mentioned BitTorrent. It's not the most super liquid, but I'm finding on FTX, you're able to get on quite big size. Let's have a little look at your comments while I have a quick check at the live charts. So target, basically, what are we looking for? No charts. This is just a quickie live stream, just you and me having a chat. Always do the charts. Got to do something different. Also, it requires my support man who always does amazing work. yes, and he's not here. He's entitled to a little bit of time off as well. So it's good to have a little bit of a mix. Thank you for the birthday wishes there, Stuart. Much appreciated. Fala Koala, ETH looks like it needs more time to set up. Maybe a pullback first. I think you're right. I think there could be an easing for ETH and BTC. Jules Davis Hines, regular on Twitter, communicating, sharing everything. Nice to have you, Jules. I'm not sure if that is male Jules or female Jules. I don't want to misgender you. We all know that's a worse crime than genocide. BTC crashing, sell everything. So if BTC does have a moderate pullback, it will take some of the thunder out of the sales of the alt run, but it will postpone it because these things have been setting up for a while, and some of the best setups will not spoil. So relative strength of those setups are very important. This is the key thing. There can be a major alt run, and if you don't choose the relative strength ones, you can get failed out in some of them. Some folk highlighting that Hex has actually done quite well. Ironic, and as I say, ironic, Hex doesn't do badly when ETH runs into trouble, actually. So it has a little bit of a counter cyclical element to it as well. And it started to play catch up and also gave us a great HVF, which is why I talk about it. Some quick words on UDA versus DOT over the long term. So DOT became what I referred to as the unreliable girlfriend. And of course, if you're female, that just translates into the unreliable boyfriend. And of course, if you have other sexual preferences, you can choose whichever mating partner you like, however you may elect to do. And that just makes it unreliable, full stop. It had a very, very bloated and a very harsh sell-off. So whilst the others will go up, I still think it will go up, but less so and be less reliable and be a relative underperformer. So we are actually seeing a separation of the platform three, which was DOT, UDA, and BNB. And at the top of the pile at the moment is BNB. It's running at 47 billion strong. Cardano is now a fairly meaty 8 billion shy of that, but I expect it to move too. And we're looking through to 170s plus and the potential to run $2. So with Binance going up to the 434s, you guys can calculate for yourself. If Binance goes to 434, where's that going to be? Well, it's trading currently around 300s in actual fact, and it is at 47, which is quite substantial. If Binance goes to 400, it'll be another 33%. So you can do a third on 47. What's that roughly? 1, carry 1 into 17. It's almost 18.6. To be another 16 billion odd if it just runs that. So that would take it to 47 plus 16. Plus a 3 is 50, 13, around 63 billion. So that will be quite a chunky 63 billion for Binance at the 400s level. 434, you're going to probably see 70 and beyond through into the low 70s, possibly up to mid 70s. Another $34 on that. So that's pretty, it's kind of another third on top. So you get, what's that? We're another 3 or 4 billion. I think you'll be in low 70s by the time it hits its high point. What will UDA be? UDA sitting at 39 at 122. If it goes to, let's say 2, we targeted for the 175s odd. So let's take, that's 50 cents on 122. It's kind of not quite 50%, but it's more than a third, around about 40% odd ish. So 40% onto 39 is also going to be pretty chunky. Half would be around 20 billion. So 40%, you're going to be around 16 billion. It's still probably, unless it shoots deep into the twos and goes beyond 175, which I think it will do. I actually think it's going to have a, you don't stop at the target. You usually pump through. I think 2 will be a psychological level. So it'll have caught up a bit with Binance. I don't know if it'll have overtaken it. I think it'll also possibly have a chance of high 60s, maybe a scrape into the low 70s by market cap, sitting at 39 now. That's just around 40. DOT is at 31, and it'll have some move, but its structure is not as good, and it's now categorized as the unreliable girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever other gender you wish to assign to it. XRP might have a reasonable run, actually. I'm not a fanboy of it, but since they got charged by the SEC, I almost find myself feeling sorry and liking them. So this is going to be pretty broad swell. pretty broad swell. We're keeping an eye on theta as well. So let's see what you guys say, and what do you ask. The key point is, if Bitcoin has a down leg, how far might it go, and what will the impact of that be on our alt run? Well, it'll stop the alt run, certainly. You'll have pullbacks, and that'll be buying opportunities. I would just load up on Binance, and I'd load up on Uddo on the dips. That's pretty much where I am at on that one. How far could it fall? Could fall back down to the 55s and possibly lower if it did have a little bit of a fallback. What could the reasons be? Who knows? Have we still got the Fed to speak? We're having silver spill, as I mentioned. So there's quite a bit of deflationary. There's a hedge fund that caused grief in the traditional financial markets. Name escapes me again, one of those difficult to remember. And as a result, Credit Suisse got into a bit of trouble. Goldman's been dumping Alibaba, or was it Baidu shares? Sorry, Baidu shares. So there's a little bit of financial undercurrents of not all being well. In these hyper liquidity times, we can leave it to the bankers to create grief and probably secure fresh bailouts of some sort and various nature. Klaus is waiting to hack us all and tell us that it was all our fault and it was the Russians that did it. So there's quite a bit of potential, what I'd like to say, deflationary risk. They've got a problem. Inflation has shown too much. The Fed looks stupid. What do they have to do? They need to mask that. How do they mask that? Create crises that create panic and see money disappear. How do you make money disappear? Write-offs, loans, bust banks, asset categories going down. Quite a few ways, but you create a deflationary environment that counters the inflation. It's kind of like global dimming, Mr. Gates spraying aluminium and barium into the air. Oh, we've been preventing global warming, deflecting all the sun's rays. It's kind of like they countervail their alleging arguments. If you believe any of that, that's his reason for doing it. Yeah, that could happen. XPR, don't know it. Soon to release NFT, zero gas fees. Goodbye ETH, says Derelict XPR. Interesting. I don't know XPR. Do you mean XPR? Must be a new token. Interesting. Thank you for changing my life. Whenever I will catch the live stream, I will say thank you for changing my life. Glad to hear it, Kuende. Hope it's for the positive. I hope you didn't go and have an operation that hurt and you now talk in a higher tone or anything like that. I hope it's for the positive. I'm assuming so. Delighted to hear that there's been a positive influence, all jokes aside. Blessings to you every time. Greetings, Sniper, says Graham Tennant. Graham Tennant, new Sniper joiner from RS of A. Getting his feet under the table. Welcome to our RSA boys. Welcome. I have a Greenland subscriber, and I have Tristan da Cunha, which is a tiny island. This is you can see who stumbled on Tweet Maps, in a tiny little island that's sort of halfway in between Africa and South America. I'm particularly delighted by that Tristan da Cunha, because I'm guessing that most of you wouldn't be able to peg that one on a map. What do I think of Phil, says Raymond Elecco. Welcome, Raymond. Welcome for joining the stream. I will actually take a look at your token for you, although this is not the purpose of the stream. It's just a general quick chat, but why not? If we can serve, we will. Phil coin, file. We do have it somewhere. Got a lot of tokens we're watching at the moment. And yeah, nice little spike. Also, nice little spike. I wouldn't chase in now, especially with what I think is coming. But Phil coin, I think it's called File token, does look good. It's kind of went really super low vol at 125, and next thing you know, you're at 146, and you've spike pumped through 150. That's the value of trading low volatility compressions into super spikes. And we are net bulls, and alts you should only be trading long right now and choosing the best that you can find and trading the squeezes into compression, into hyper extending upsides. This is where you boost your reward on super tight risk, and with moderate and sensible use of leverage, you can amplify your returns and take yourself up in the wealth scales in reset times while the government is busy flattening all careers, all the middle class, all SMEs, and everyone in the middle, and punishing the poor as ever, whilst in the name of giving out stimmy checks, which is actually a tax on everybody because you paid it. So they'll get effectively over 14,000 out of every taxpayer for those stimmy checks, 1.9, and they will give you 1,400. So they steal from you and give you 10% tip as they leave of what they stole from you, because that is currency destruction. And the other 90% goes to the military industrial complex, contracts where they are getting backhanders on a variety of services such as mask provision, vaccine provision, and various other saving the world. Anyway, I don't want to get too reset in here. This is Crypto Sniper. That is the thing. A lot of you always ask about e-gold. There's a bit of a squeeze in there. Algo, you also ask about that one. I think File is the best. Some of you have had fun. The DeFi are a little bit off the boil. Most of the DeFi are a little bit off the boil. So we're seeing movers coming out of the other areas, the platform tokens at the moment, with a bit of banks going in there. Kasama, a lot of you ask, had a little bit of a pullback and an inverted, but a lot of these are quite close to recent highs and will probably trade higher during this. But choose your very best, because it's a massive difference. Having the skill set to get a 10x instead of a 2x in the alt window, having the difference to get 50% instead of 15% in the alt window, all make a big difference, especially when adding a small judicious amount of light leverage, if you are so disposed to doing so. What else have you guys got for me that you want to talk about? Gorget from Adelaide. Francis, in video months ago, you talked about hired a person that sent you an Excel file with another person's name, as I don't want to be trapped by him too. Did you take his advice? No, we found our own way to the answer, and we are helping our community and others to a much lower cost version than this person's extremely high prices. It wasn't an Excel sheet. It was actually a templated document to be a plan. This was some 4 or 5 years ago, about how to preserve your wealth in terms of structure. And thank you for asking your question, Gorget of Adelaide, because in actual fact, we are very much doing exactly that right now with our community, and we are broadening it out. And the services are expanding. This is becoming a full-blown extra business to our existing business in terms of the trading metamorphosis programs, the self-study programs, getting you to build the wealth. Now, keeping the wealth, particularly that inflation is coming. Guys, let me just cover this. This is so important. So I'm going to go back into one of these. You maybe didn't hear it because I might have done it on Market Sniper. You maybe not subbed there. By the way, you should be subbed in all of them. There we go. I love killing mozzies. All forms of parasites should be destroyed. And I'm talking about some of the ones that exist in our environment and society right now and are coming to suck your blood. And that's what I'm talking about. Do you not understand, guys, that this is a totalitarian move by government, what's coming? Inflation is how they impoverish the masses and build wealth for the end. It literally is the casino table being lifted on one end and all the chips run to the side. Those with massive leverage and huge amounts of assets get all the gain. Stock market runs to the moon. Everything pumps to the moon. Land pumps to the moon. Watch out on property, though. Wealth taxes are coming because too many of you have got your little tenterhooks in property, etc., etc. So they've got to find a way to shake you out. A couple of rate spikes as we have crazy financial systems, and a little bit of volatility. They're very good at creating that. Go look at the volatility since the creation of the Fed. And we left, and then especially since getting off the gold standard in the boom and bust cycles, and you'll see exactly. These guys are great at shaking you out at the bottom and then pumping it to a boom and then handing you the bags to take the elevator down after they've taken the escalator up. This is the game, and inflation is one of their core tricks. And we're going into a super high inflationary period now. That is taxation to you. So the more they print, and the more inflation goes up, all your base level fixed costs, rent, bread, milk, electricity, water, all go up. And then what happens? All those costs can go up double over the space of 2.5 years. Your income probably won't go up double. It might go up, say, 75%. If you're on a salary, you're very lucky. The NHS workers got 1%. Imagine working. I got a 1%. Oh, mate, that's like asking a snail to cross the wall of China in terms of building wealth. I don't know how people put up with that. But anyway, so let's say you happen to have an awesome career and you're a high performer and you got a promotion and you went up 60%. You're actually poorer because they've doubled your fixed costs. And they've also dragged you into higher tax brackets where they have marginal tax rates, which are taking even more of your money. How do you prevent that? This is the big squeeze. And eventually that inflation will climb so fast, so furious. And they're telling you it ain't there. It's been there for a while. There's a whole bunch of smoke and mirrors. It starts in assets. It works its way through the commodities. They're trying to kill all the commodities. Coffee gone a bit down recently. Silver gone a bit down. There's a whole deflationary thing because the Fed has been looking so goddamn stupid about there's no inflation. So now they're trying to bring the CRB index and put pressure on the oil, all these things that we've called triple. We've had a little bit of a hiccup down on the commodities that have all been running, and a big sell-off on gold and silver recently. How and why? Well, the rates keep going up on debt. Nobody wants to buy that stuff. So they're printing to buy their own stuff. It is literally a contained Ponzi scheme, and they are taxing you because the more they proliferate, they are diluting you. If I double the amount of money in circulation, the buying power of the cash in your wallet is halved, because very soon all the prices will have to go up to earn the same amount of money as they did before. But first you'll have a margin squeeze, then the businesses can't eat it anymore and they pass it on. And this is what's going to happen. So you have to do defense. So Georgette, you can go to that guy and pay $7,000, that's what it was, for a report. That's what it was 4 or 5 years ago, and get somebody else's name on a template that he forgot to edit out. Or you can actually and then be asked to pay 25 further grand. That was the prices again 4 years ago. Or in fact, you can get a structure that is far more affordable for less than the cost potentially of the report that you can work in, that you can have crypto accounts, trading accounts. Even if you're just not a trader, you're just an investment hodler of a couple of big coins that you think are going to make it. They will come for you with CGT. They will come for you with income. They will come for you for everything. There is a way, there's laws. You have to use their laws against them. You have to understand the matrix to beat the matrix. You need to know thy enemy. You need to know thy enemy. You've got to study them. That's why I'm sitting with the book on transgender to transhumanism. That's why I want to shout out this fella, by the way. Lovely chap, Sean Hanlon. I'm going to put him on my Reset Sniper, the third truth. He's literally a fan of our Reset Sniper channel, and you should read the back of this book. He's absolutely summarized perfectly what's going on. I don't want to get too reset on here, but there's lots to learn about what's going on and how it's going to go. And there's a great leveling that they want to do. You need to protect what you make. Any place where you're making money, they know it. They know there's others like you, and they have a plan. Do you have your defense plan? So that's a massive, massive statement I'm making, and we can help. And you can contact us. You don't have to buy. You don't have to be engaged as a market sniper, trading sniper at all. You don't have to be a trader. You can just be an investor. Thanks. We know you run education on trading. Not really interested in that. I'm just a Bitcoin maximalist. I want to hold Bitcoin. I want to hold Ethereum. Whatever you are, I just want to protect myself from government. Fine. Separate matter. Email support@themarketsniper.com, and you can do that. Now you'll get a consult, not for $7,000, but for $500, and you will be told exactly what you need to do. And if you choose to go forward, that'll count towards your cost for doing it. And for less than the report of somebody 4 years ago who gave me somebody else's name where it's supposed to say mine, you can already have your solution. But it takes time, and you need to be patient. There's documents to be filled in. There's a whole structure that goes on. But I didn't come on here to talk about that. But you triggered me. Thanks, Georgette, for triggering me in the positive way. And now these guys had to listen to that. Some of them don't want to hear it. Some will be very pleased to hear it. You know what to do. Email support@themarketsniper.com. Help me defend my money in the subject line. Okay. Any view on ocean? I have a beautiful view of the ocean. Thank you. I'm assuming that's also crypto, though, Jarvi. Chillers is looking pretty decent. I'll have a quick check on the chat again. I took a little bit of it. It's not the most liquid. I like to put chunks in, but I took a little bit of it. It was not an HVF, but it was a decent 3 impulse falling wedge, which I expected a break out of. And have my own way of deciding when I will dump a clearer profits on that, hopefully, if it does what I think. So let me do chillers. Find him. So many tokens now. List. Chillers. Quite a few of you. How many of you are interested in chillers and watching it, by the way? And is that because of the sport, getting registered as a fan type thing? Or is it more the crypto kind of view? Leave us your comments, by the way. I'll respond to the top 5 comments. Can I just also warn all of you? They copy my face and they reply with WhatsApp group numbers. They're utterly deviant. They're definitely going to thieve you. If you choose to respond to a phone number with dots and commas in between it with a picture of my face, no, you're talking to someone who's a deceptive person and wants you to think that you're talking to me. Know that he intends to steal from you. If you see it, report it straight away. Help us keep the comments cleared, by the way, because I just hate that energy dribbling around in our comments. And it's still looking for chillers. Sorry for this. Oh, there it is, CHZ. It's a bit harder to spot. There we go. So it's been a little bit slow bumping out of the falling wedge. I managed to get it in the upper 40s and it's low 50s. It's not been a supreme break, and it'll probably drift off if Bitcoin comes off. So the big thing is, what will Bitcoin do next? This is the big theme about this. Yes, a little bit of a celebration. It's birthday, of HVF method. But Binance has clearly shown its hand. That's very nice. Everything can come back down. And for those of you that are not yet in, that's an opportunity. Chasing in now would be dangerous because Bitcoin's intentions. When do we know that Bitcoin isn't making a relative high to and isn't going down? Quite clearly when it takes out the previous high. So if it takes out the previous high as part of this move, we have a bull flag structure. And I've drawn that and I've shown it on crypto. So I've done a good draw of that. If you're in premium, you're non-stop reminded of it and you get it. We've also got a falling wedge draw as a possible other template. I like to look at a chart through different glasses each time just to make sure we're not missing something. It's so important what Bitcoin does. I spend a lot of my time asking this chart, what are you doing? Looking at key things and framing and measuring it up. What Bitcoin does next will determine if we continue into the alt run straight from here and it's pretty straight up and you start gunnering it, or whether you will have a revisit back down. And this is where your leverage, your oversizing will kill you. Because if you've been adding all the way up as you've been making profit and you keep looking at your margin and going, I still got 100 grand that I aren't using. I can go another one and another one and another one. And you're chasing up, and it turns around. That P&L drains away. That means the additional margin you have drained away. You've added size all the way up and suddenly you're having margin calls and you're being shaken out of the big alt run with losses on a down leg. You've got to avoid that. My goal is to prevent that for you. I spend a lot of time making sure we prevent that for the community members. We have money management. We're actually working already on our next platform, which has got so much more new, exciting elements. And we put extra manpower on it so that we're really pumped for what's coming. And it is a great learning environment. But you still can cock it up. You can have $1 million, $10 million platform. If your emotions override, you're going to do damage. So you've got to watch leverage. Be careful. Be careful. Anything we say here. So what other comments have we got? Chillers looked okay, but underperforming. Underperforming compared to the likes of Binance, Ocean Heights. Hedge fund collapse. Yes, you're right, Lord Humongous. That's part of it, my friend. You're absolutely right. Keep talking, Francis, is Mike de Hollander. Half the XRP Moon Boys committed mass suicide yet. No, they're coming back a little bit. I actually think XRP is going to go over $1 and do around $1.07 as part of this alt. But like everything else, it's a little bit scrappy now. You don't need to chase in. I think there'll be opportunities to pick it up a little bit lower. But actually, I could see it more than doubling as part of this result. So actually, this alt run is going to be broad and kind to many. And, we've got all these sub cults and everybody wants to see somebody else hurt and somebody else. I'm quite happy for everyone to make money. You know, I want the Hex boys to make money. I want the XRP guys to make money. I want the Bitcoin maximalists to make money. I want the Ethereum, we're the first in the original platforms, to make money. I'm happy with everyone making money. It's quite democratic for me. I don't have to see someone lose to win, you know, but there's a lot of people that have to see someone else lose and to win to really win. And you know, it's not really that necessary, but there is relative overperformance in certain tokens, and assessing that and being in those will give you the bigger up, even in a season that wins. You want to win harder when it's winning season, and you want to defend harder when it's a defense season. And that's the smartness and the compounding effect of quality decisions made in that space is a huge, huge difference. It is massive. And then when you've done all that, you have to protect it from the government. So it's quite a war, guys. It's quite a war. But the key thing is we think we can help you with every element of that. And that's useful. I've already given you support at the Market Sniper for those that want to protect what they keep, don't care for our program or HVF method. Super low vol on chillers. I'm Tyler, by the way. Nice to meet you, Tyler. Thank you for introducing yourself. That's very cool. Northwest BSV. I'm guessing your token is BSV. Northwest of which beautiful nation state? I'm not entirely sure. 55K is not the end of the world. No, we can fall back to 55.5 or possibly even a bit lower. It won't kill alts, and some of the best structures will still survive that, but they will certainly come off their highs. So that's fine. Some of the weaker ones, I'm a little bit, as I say, I'm a little bit unreliable girlfriend on dot at the moment, but in the end, I think they will all go. So what else have we got out of you guys? Solano, yes, I have checked it recently. It's not as good as some of the ones we've mentioned, by the way. King Nick, I've checked it recently. There's better right now. Oh, Michael's a bit unlucky. He's had a bad week. He bought Euro USD. Went long the euro against the dollar, and he got gold. Sorry, mate. I'm sorry. Trading metals can be quite tough because it's quite in between. I haven't decided whether we've got a falling wedge on silver or it's head and shoulders. But I'm a net investor, and I actually even took a little small short tactical for a very short while. I didn't really feel that I had enough. I wasn't fully believing in the head and shoulder, but maybe that's why it'll be successful, because it's almost unexpected. But that makes me think, if that head and shoulder really worked, and again, you have to have followed the Market Sniper to know the chart, because we actually have a nestled monarch head and shoulder, and then a possible bigger one with bigger shoulders, for which the monarch head and shoulder is just the head of something. We could even trade down to 13. That's not a call, though. I'm not saying high prob on that. And as I say, it is also in a falling wedge, so it could just have a little dip out the bottom and then bump. So there's a little bit too much going on. Yep. So what else have you guys got for me? Mary, nice to have the ladies. Mary Bryan. Looks like a male picture though, so maybe Mary is the surname. Recently, I invested in both stock and crypto, but currently I believe crypto is going to do better. It is the faster horse right now for me. So yes, I think you're leaning the right way for the moment right now. And I think for most moments initially, but I think if you're totally in crypto, you're also vulnerable. So I believe in a stable of horses, not just one super fast racehorse, because there's only one thing that has to get nobbled and you'll be in trouble. Graham Tennant says, I expect Binance Smart Chain projects to do well. Dollar cake is one to watch, the Uniswap of BSC. So there you go. Tip from Graham. He watches and reads the news. It was great doing South African crypto presentation through Graham and his team there. It was good fun, Graham. It was nice seeing you. It would be great to meet more of you, but governments put an end to that for now. We don't do any public, we can't do any conferences anymore. Everything is virtual now. Francis, could you give some thoughts on US oil? This is kind of crypto sniper, so calling out the oil market is not something I want to do on any great length, but long term I'm inflationary, which means I expect oil, gold, silver, and all those things to go up, including Robusta coffee. Right now, they're trying to put a lid on all those things, so it could go a little bit down for a little bit, but I don't think they're going to be able to get away for it too long. Thank you for taking the time to respond, says Gorget. Pleasure. Anything to say about UMA? Don't know it. Might be a small one. Not familiar with it. Earthstick. That's why existing pieces are inflating rapidly, says Lord Humongous. Kel, I'll be off in my pirate ship with pieces of 8, the parrot. Yes, why not? Inflation is everywhere, but according to Fed, no inflation. Tony, I agree. How is one chain, please? So a couple of requests for small tokens I'm not too clear on. The Dixie is pump, BTC go down. So I'll do a quick check of the Dixie because it is crypto related. Let's have a look. Dixie 93 at the moment. So we did call the turn on the Dixie and it is working and worming its way up. This is leaning on the precious metals and the commodities. So it's at 93. It broke out of a falling wedge. Everyone thought it wouldn't happen. It was dollar only to the floor. And some still think that it's just a rally. I disagree. I think the bond market unraveling is a real problem. And rates going up is a real problem. And to try get other people to buy American debt, to stop the American debt from devaluing, is going to see money flow into the dollar and it's going to cause extra dollar increase. This is why the USD TRI is going to lose ground. But be careful on the USD TRI. The funding rates, they're absolutely killing it. There's some really scary funding rates going out there. Be truly warned. I got bitten on that. I decided to hold into that and funding rates got really pushed high. That is how they will spoil you making the money on the currency crisis. The liquidity providers to the brokers will jack the holding prices overnight so high. I had just under 10 grand for a single day holding cost on a single contract of Turkish lira on one day. So watch it, be careful. So yes, we might trade them, but you've also got to be very conscious of what you're going to be staring at. So there's more to come in that space. A bit of learning. That's how they'll stop you from making the money on the Great Reset. Hence why we're in crypto. Hence why you will eventually hodl and hold some silver and gold. Eventually, it'll be the wrong trade. And as I've said before on every program, gold and silver will continue to be the wrong trade for a long time. And then suddenly it becomes horribly right. So don't just be mono, because electronic money is electronic money. Hacks are hacks. Something you hold in your hand, you always hold. So a mix of both, truly a stable over a single horse. That's my take. So the Dixie is working its way up, and it's gone up from around, when was it? It was about 92 now, and it's at 93.322. And I can tell you debt is in trouble. I've got the TNX chart. It hit 175. That is the yield on the 10-year treasuries. Just to give you some context, some of you will think this is boring shit. I don't understand. The yield at the bottom of the COVID lows was 0.4. They were paying 0.4%. You bought 10-year debt, you get your money back 10 years later, and you got 0.4% interest. That's your investment. How'd you like a bit of them apples? Or would you rather be in crypto trading the alts along with me? I know you know the correct answer to that one. Anyway, now it's 1.75. Now the thing is, this is super sensitive because 0.4 going up to 1.6 is a 4x in rates. It doesn't sound that interesting to you guys. It's a 4x in rates. Going to 1.75, well, that's beyond 4 times. And in fact, times by 5 will be 0.2. And we're only 0.25% away from 2. So this is a big story that crypto is not being aware of and not staying. The failure of the debt markets. This is going to cause acceleration into crypto. It's going to cause acceleration into things that hold value. We have negative interest rates. Right now, it's causing pressure on gold and silver because interest rates are climbing. But actually, you still have a negative interest rate because the true inflation rate is a lot higher than that, even if you accept their inflation rate that's about 2%. So in their mind, you've gone from a deeply negative interest rate to coming up to largely break even, which is a lie because your inflation rate is not 1.73. You don't pump 2 trillion into a market after pumping 2 trillion the back end of the previous year into the market and tell me that there's 1.75% inflation or 2% inflation. What else have you guys got for me? Should I get silver coins from jewelry shop? Well, the premiums will expand as the price goes lower. So you will get drops in cost in terms of physical in your hand, but not by as much as the paper prices descent. That's what's going to happen. Thanks for the stream, Sniper. Pleasure, El Hexidente. And glad to see the Hex boys in spirit here. Remember, we want all of crypto to win. Everybody is part of the plan. Dixie in Rising Wedge started this year. Will it pop up and start a new trend? I've already answered on Dixie. I think the dollar is turning. And I think a lot of things turned that people don't realize. Trends ended. COVID was the end of the bull market, a 40-year bull market in debt. We said it a year ago when other people were pushing the euro dollar, which is a debt market for dollar-based debt in the outside of America. And we think this is now finally showing. It's starting to show. So Eth and Uni says X-Free Raven. I'm not too sure what he wants to ask. BTT, yep. We like BitTorrent. Should we sell a little crypto for silver? Wait till the alt run has played out. Get your 430 Binance run. Leave a little bit on because there could be overperformance. We don't know. You could have a blow-off move, but take 65, 70% off, and then maybe take a small percentage of that and have something that you hold in your hand. Have something that feels like money, heavy, true, polished, and real material. Can't be taken away. There is some degree of rarity to it. H-bar. Some folk like a good shout in the comments. Yes, we know about H-bar. Let's have a little look. Is it doing anything interesting? I've scanned all of the cryptos. I looked at Sol. I looked at Sand. Sol, by the way, just made a target. So who was the man who asked about Sol? Forgot the name. It broke up. It ruined its structure, and then pumped and made target. Anyway, we've got a draw here. The target was 20.66. So it's now trading 19.2. So I think it's going to progress, decay, and chop around a little bit. But it did make a HVF target. We've kind of worked one out, but it was a very ugly, bloated second impulse. That won't mean too much to you unless you're HVF trader. But so Haven is one that I often think of in the same tune as H-bar. I've got the two XHs and the H-bar together. Haven is a security element to it. Worth watching, not particularly of too much interest right now, but I think all of these tokens will go up. H-bar, I found it finally. I think it needs a down leg first, H-bar. I think it'll set up a little later, but it's looking very positive, medium, long term. I wouldn't buy it at these levels. I think you can buy it. So where's H-bar? It's at 38.7, 0.387. I think you can probably pick it up for 0.32 at some point, maybe 0.33s. Let it come down. It's not going to run just yet, but it's setting up structure for later running. And it's an interesting project as well, from what I understand of it. Same kind of things for Luna as well. Luna, no real need to chase just yet. We're watching Theta. Is a return move. These are sensitive levels on Theta. You can get back in at sub 13. That's a good trade, and I would hold until 17.25, and I would take off 65 to 70%. So those are a couple of thoughts on a couple of tokens with you. Cards on the UDA contract. I've got big position in UDA. I have looked at RVN, USDT, and I don't think I was overly impressed with it. I didn't find reason to go back to it. I can't picture it specifically, but you guys have called for some of these before. Big time frame. Well, it had a super move. It went from 0.01 to a super spike high of 0.29. Let's have a look at it on a daily. It also needs a lower leg. So RVN could be a bit skittish and sell off, but in the longer term, it's going to give us a great opportunity. So it's an interesting medium long term, but it does look a little bit vulnerable to a sell off first. You want to try buy it at 14 or 13 to maybe 16 tops. It's at 19 at the moment. It's traded 29. But the next move that it makes could be very, very interesting. You could go really high. You could go, 40s as far as 0.4s. but it's going to take a while to set that up. So it's one for the future, but not now. It's going to come cheaper. It's going to come cheaper. So that's my take. Yeah, somebody's trying to sell somebody, I'm sure. Haley Zachary. Haley, who are you trying to sell? Holo, Monero. If she says me, then it's all okay. Look at cards. Do you believe we will touch back the lows for ADA of 0.1s? That would be a pretty disastrous. No, I don't, Rami. But you can never say never. ADA through mid-70s, but it hasn't finalized entirely for us, so we don't have a final draw, which is different. Binance, we've got a trigger. But Johan wants to know which, Johan's one of our boys, answer his question, will be appreciated. Holo USDT, which platform are you getting a trade on it? OB1, when do you think an equity market crash is coming? How long can it be avoided? Well, if deflation, you see that one of the ways they can bring deflation is they cause asset deflation. And a lot of the hot money has gone into the stock market. So that will counteract inflationary forces, a good stock market crash. So I actually think control structure is up for a bit of skedaddle of that kind of variety. And Klaus loves to look like Nostradamus, forecasting exactly what he intends to plan. So hacking and hits to the financial markets are my best guess, mainly because other people have told me. Francis, what are your opinions on ISAs and maybe a Bitcoin ISA coming in the future? Far better. So ISA is a government individual savings account that the UK does. They like to restrict how much you can put in. You get a little $7,000 allowance. I don't know if that's 10 by now. It was around 7 when I was last there. I just think you want a self-invested personal pension if you have a pension, Michael D. And I think you want to get everything you would put out in an ISA. You want to set up a structure through the support at Market Sniper. And then you want to, anyone posting a phone number, I report, by the way. So I would suggest don't doing it. I'm just reporting you as soon as you do it. And the spammers, guys, only spammers will post a phone number in a chat. Please be smart. Sorry, regarding the ISA. So I would rather have a structure that is outside the country's borders. They can continue to mess around. They change the rules every year on an ISA. They can limit how much capital gains. They can just change the rules. They've captured your money inside the borders of the country and given you a false sense of security. Fuck that idea. Seriously. This is a Not for Children's channel, by the way, in case I hadn't mentioned it. So I don't want that. I don't trust the government. The worst place for you guys to live is actually the country of your birth or the passport you carry. The best thing you can do is move. The best things you can do is move out of the country of your birth and have a domicile. Be a visitor, a permanent tourist in another land, and have a right of residency and have non-domicilian status. XRP to the moon says greetings from Portugal. Bruno Rodriguez, that's a good Portuguese name. Best friends are Ferreiras, by the way, with Portuguese blood. I wish they could get an EU passport. They're still in South Africa. He was a fisherman and looked Portuguese, and he had married a Scotsman, Scotswoman, not a Scotsman as in man, a Scottish woman. So they are the descendants of Portugal. What is this? Would you ever sell your BTC for fiat? You may have to if you're buying a big home, for example, and they're not taking more and more. Panama, by the way, there's properties available for Bitcoin, direct Bitcoin and crypto purchases. Just putting that out there. You'll learn a lot more when you talk to the guys that supported the Market Sniper. But there are places now more and more open to that. Where we are looking, we've already had people accept that they would be prepared to accept 50% of payment for property in crypto. So yeah, there's more starting to happen in the space. I think they're going to lock up South Africa this winter, says Johan. What is your take on metal? Haven't seen a metal chart in ages, and I've not done coverage on it, so I've got no coverage for you. So no take at this moment. I don't know how they've advanced their project fundamentally. I haven't had any conversations with Rainer, and no updates. Sorry, it's not coverage for me area. It's been a little too many years without checking in with it and on the charts. Is it up huge? Oh, well, that's good news. That's good news. They might be getting some of their projects off array. Have a look for a heart attack metal. Yeah, we did cover, and we had a chat with Rainer in Dubai. I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago, and I had the chance to be with him personally and have a long chat. And I'm delighted for him that he's making progress. SIA has done a 5x. I seem to remember Siacoin as like one of those old school ones that were around for quite a while when I first started, and then went totally quiet. Siacoin, Tether, Binance. Let's go Tether, Binance on Siacoin. SCUSDT it is, if I've got the right one. Yeah, it's come up a massive amount. Some of these old guys was a third of a cent, now trading at 2.5 cents. Third of a cent. You're going to see a lot of this, guys. This is one of those rare moments that a couple of decent projects with real fundamentals might be worth. You could actually trade. Preferably, you want to see them already being backed by money and already going up. You want to grab a low volatility moment, and this spell. And I can't tell you how long it'll last. And you can get a sudden reality check. Don't use leverage if you're doing, a small token, any token that is not even a full cent in value. It can certainly do very well for a while, but make sure it's money you're prepared to lose, and I wouldn't use leverage on it. It would be investment only. But I mean, you get a 5x out of it, and you put 5 or 10 grand in it. It's better than a kick in the backside. But make sure you need to think about structures. Guys, you need to think about structures before you make the money. This is the problem. You don't get to retroactively inject your individual, personal, UK-based, UK-verified Bitfinex platform, or your Kraken or your Binance out of the US. You don't get to retroactively inject it into an offshore company so that all future earnings. You need defense now, and you're making the money now. We put out videos a while ago. Most of you could have been already finished and set up for the price of somebody else's report and change left over, and you would be defended yourself. But it's never too late. Don't think, oh, I haven't done it, now I'm screwed, because there will be more gains. This is a macro bull. So do now what you can do, because once you actually seem to have the defense, they go and take the easy pickings. Everyone picks the low fruit that is obvious, the testicles of a dog hanging out there. You don't want to be that to your government when they're coming around with a pin looking for something to prick, I dare say. Don't be that guy. So better be late than never, and go and defend yourself. Destiny Jose. Hello, everyone. I just got Michelle Scott info. Is he that good? That is obviously a spam. Thank you for showing up and spamming and having a woman's face so that we thought you'd be innocent and sweet, and we report you. Thank you so much for being a spammer. Where are you on Monero? So Monero did actually have a bad structure. It's not in good structure. Unfortunately, it's underperforming and it's slipping down the table. But it actually had a good run-ish recently for an underperforming token, if that makes sense. So I think it's going to play a massive role, and it's going to have its moment. It's not yet. It's not yet. People are looking at use cases, businesses, and they're all formal. They're all government lackeys. They all want the, upfront, and they want the official. They're like Raoul in terms of course, government's coming, of course, regulations coming. It's all good. It's what's going to make the industry go and grow. And in some ways, that's absolutely true and right. But the liberty, the sacrificial lamb, is your privacy and your goddamn liberty. And that isn't being talked about. And there seems to be some other new privacy tokens that are trying to do some things that might be more innovative. I don't know. I haven't checked them out. But Monero still seems to me one of the most serious projects on secrecy. But for now, secrecy doesn't get publicity and hype. The media ain't going to cover it because the media is a lackey. So here's how I view the world. Listen and understand this. You're in the UK or you're in America. Your accountant is a tentacle, is the tip of the tentacle of an octopus that all leads back to the dark state that sits behind government. to extract blood from the energy that you create in your productive activity. Even though he's your mate, he has a gun held to his head that says if you're ever doing anything that sounds too interesting, there's a law that he can get disbarred from being an accountant if he doesn't report what he could be deemed suspicious activity by you. That's where you're at on that. So the bank is a spy on you. Your accountant is a spy on you. The government is a spy on you. The oligarchical tech machinery is a spy on you. The Samsung TV with a permanently on voice recorder is a spy on you. The Alexa from Amazon is a spy on you. Your private company CCTV to catch burglars is a spy on you. The entire octopus is in everything you do. Every chip that exists in every device is a goddamn spy on you. Take measures to protect yourself from the spy in the world. Be a man of the planet, not a man of a single nation. Take those steps, and privacy tokens will need to have their time, but they will lose their value if everything else you do is blogged on flipping Facebook, shared with the same network of friends that are also in your WhatsApp contact list, that are also on your Google Plus profile, that are also in your Gmail open source CIA email that they run spider bots searching for what they can sell you, what you might be doing, which might be making money that they don't yet know about. Everything is an octopus with tentacles to spy on you. Every word you say is being heard and recorded somewhere, probably already. You don't even know it. The robots, the dog robots are walking around. Those dog bots, aren't they so cute? Walking around with paint guns locked on them. You know, paintball for playing real army war games? And they're shooting paintballs with them. They're testing this in companies and saying, oh, and the original company maker of the dog bot is saying, oh, we didn't design that for this purpose, like I have a moral issue with it. Meanwhile, it's just a bit of play acting so that you don't hate on their company. That is terminal. Guys, we were in a script. You're walking onto the stage and you are a bit player in the bastard love child of 1984 for surveillance. When Atlas shrugged for financial meltdown, where anyone who does anything productive is punished and only the lackeys, the Marxists, and the social woke are celebrated, and Terminator #1, the movie, with the red-eyed monsters hunting you down and eliminating you because you're part of the few that didn't get vaxxed, that didn't die on the next wave that's coming in November, for all those that will wipe out those that have gone and taken the vax, that are now more vulnerable than before. I don't know what to say to you. I want to be positive and optimistic. There's huge opportunity in crisis. There always is. But boy, is this one mofo of a freaking crisis. You're losing your freedoms. Security tokens are not getting traction. It's not what they want to get traction. It's not what corporates want to give traction. It's platforms and everything else. It's business online. It's everything else that's coming, that's getting the traction. You need to understand this. You've got to ask yourself, what am I doing to defend myself? For me, the worst place to be, the Holodomor of Western European blood, that was what was spilt in Russia by the Bolsheviks. Starvation, murder, and rape is coming for Western society. That is the Commonwealth, Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, Canada, North America, UK, and Pan-Europe. It's going to be the worst hit because that's where all the money is. That's where all the money is, the great leveling. The great leveling for global communism is to flatten the bourgeois classes. So you need to think where you live. You want to think about your survival. You can say, I hate you. You're making me worry. I'm giving you a possible lifeline that will prompt you to action. I'm creating mental dissonance in you to see you survive. Not only do you have to build wealth, you need to protect it. Not only do you have to build wealth and protect your wealth, you need to protect your personal sovereignty from the biggest single attack that's ever been perpetrated against it. Hear me now. What is your plan for you, your loved ones, your children who can't be expected to think about such big, dark issues? And surviving it will see the light as bright as the darkness was dark. But boy, it's going to be a rough ride. And if you don't see this and you don't hear me, then you're missing the game. You're missing the game. And it's going to come out. The reset sniper is dying to come out, but I need the subs. Go put it up there. I've got detail for you, but I'm not going to get on it here because there's some people who just want to hear about crypto, and I don't want this channel banned. Reset sniper is like my extra arm. I'm ready to have it chopped off. It's a third arm. And you know, we got BitChute, we got LBRY. By the way, we have BitChute and LBRY channel, and all our videos are put there. Go and sub there. I might suddenly disappear, guys. I might suddenly disappear. They strike hard. I got my first Facebook ban. It's coming, and I don't do any marketing. Yeah, you need to hear it every day, Mark Cherry. You do, Mark. You're right, and you need to take action. It needs to provoke you to action. I need to create discord in you to the point where you take action. That is what you do. And we are on LBRY. Go and find us under the Market Sniper, that Market Sniper. And we put all of them. I haven't done 3 channels on there. It's too much to maintain. It's too much to load. We got a small little group. There's 3 of us that are full-time just on the admin and everything. Arrow, you're late. You are late, but you got the sniper and you got the number of R's right. Lorraine Weymouth. Shocks you how clever the fuckers are, she says. I'm quite happy to show that. It's not spam just because it says fuckers. I'm good with fuckers. This is not a child. This is not a channel for child. Salute from India. Yes, we've been missing you, Arrow. Where's the arrow from India? Some people will think it's a different kind of Indian arrow. Cowboys in India. No, what countries are safe? Yeah, well, you've got to, not the Western, not the wealthy Western. You've got to be on the periphery. I tell you where it will be safe. The places that were already hit by this lightning. Russia. Do you want to live in the snow? No, go to Crimea. Go live in the borders, peripheries. Turkey. You don't have to, you know, it's a secular Muslim state. There's other places. You're going to have to think. You've got to go off the usual spaces. You can be on an island. You can have non-domicilian status. You can have a very, very tax-efficient structure. Support at themarketsniper.com. Help me with my plan. I do not have the knowledge. Someone else who's sweated all of this out, done all the thinking, spent all the money, flew around the world. Can you fast-track me? Yes, we can. And that's not an Obama advert. There's real substance behind it. Yeah, best place to buy silver in the UK. So currently, I am working on a new silver provider, and he's going to do super tight prices, tighter than silver to go, tighter even potentially than Celtic Gold, which was suggested on this channel by someone else. So I will be revealing those details, and we've been in ongoing discussions. You've actually caught me ahead of the time to actually announce that. I am going to have my first deliveries from them myself, and they will be revealed, and they will be very good in my opinion. But I will never put something forward I don't use myself. Simple as that. So it has to be the best for me to be the best for you. There isn't you eat worms and I eat steak. If we're getting steak, we're getting the best steak, and everybody eats the same steak. Thank you for guiding us on BNB, killing it. Yes, I'm glad, Arrow. You might be a bit choppy. Don't be oversized. Could pull back if Bitcoin has that pullback. We've had a big pump breakout. Now we're grinding up, and now we're waiting to see what Bitcoin and ETH does. It will pull back. Remember, you earn your money in sweat when you're trading cryptos. You earn your money. You've earned it. You're not lottery gaming where you just get a luck shot thanks to a guy on YouTube. You earn it in stress and sweat, taking on risk to hold something that could go down. Brazil reports 3,780 new corona deaths today. Which vaccine is good? None of the vaccines are good. And if you had a gun held to your head and you were forced to take absolutely one, I would take the Russian one. But it's not broadly available in the Western European nations. It's more old school vaccines. So it'll have mercury, it'll have a lot of shit in it. But it's not going to, I don't think it has the DNA. From the advice I've seen, from the material I've consumed, it doesn't have the DNA and mRNA adjusting aspects. You do not need a vaccine. You have an immune system. We have survived as a breed for absolutely tens of thousands of years. Yes, you are born of a father who was born of a father who was born of a mother who was born of a father who was born, generations to the moon. And there were viruses and vaccines that were shitting in a hole and eating raw meat, and they survived. Okay, you have all that you need. Put that bullshit that you're being fed aside. I'm going to reset sniper. I don't want to do it, but you don't need no vaccine. If you start, you won't stop. They'll keep vaccinating you, and then they'll pre-prime you, and then they'll turn you off. Simple as that. It's a death warrant. You're giving permission for someone to mistakenly kill you through a series of maybe 1 vaccine, 2 vaccine, 3, 4, however many it takes. But by the time they're done, you'll be eugenicized. This is a fight for your life. That's my opinion. Maybe we should start a coin called Skynet. I tell you, they already have it. It'll be the central bank coins. Tell that to my friend who's dealing with COVID patients every day. COVID patients every day. Flu, bad pneumonia patients every day. Where's all the flu and pneumonia deaths gone? 98, 99% all disappeared. Yeah, someone did ask what vaccine they're taking. I don't want to get into this topic. Otherwise, I must end this stream. It's a reset sniper discussion. So, yeah, Latin America is a possibility. Far-flung places which aren't scaled, that don't warrant big resources. Falklands, for example. If you like British weather, go to the Falklands. You're just not going to have Selfridges down the road. Yeah, I'm being kind of facetious, funny, but remote places, Namibia, warm if you like sun, by tract of land. They haven't got the resources to over-police generally. But the drones will come eventually, and the state will buy it. So this is a game of hide. You either fight, or you run and hide and you buy some time and you hope someone else will fight for you. And everybody thinks the same. Nobody fights, and they will flush you out. They just divide and conquer, grab small bits at a time and flush you out until eventually they'll even get to the far-flung places. Unfortunately, there's no warriors left in the world. None are good. mRNA is experimental. Exactly, Derelict, you're spot on. Okay, let's talk about cryptos. Otherwise, I'm terminating. Costa Rica is an option, yes, but their governments will fold. They're still owned by who? They've killed South American presidents for throwing out ExxonMobil, the Rockefeller cartel, for poisoning the Amazon River and the natural tribe that lived there. The guy threw it out, took back the oil, and next thing his plane fell out the sky, and a new guy came in, and the Rockefeller oil was back carrying on poisoning. These are the same guys using green as a reason to eugenicide, do eugenesis practices. Anyway, Vibe. I'll do a last crypto. Vibe is the last crypto, and then I'm calling it times. I've got to watch a movie with my missus, and she's been patient. I shocked her with the fact that I was going to do a live stream, and she's very patient. She's good girl. Vibe Ethereum, kind of outperforming Ethereum a little bit, but that wasn't saying so much because Ethereum has been pants. Let's just see if I can get a USDT trading view calculated story. Yeah, I don't like the chart. Look, it's had a pump, but everything's had a pump. It didn't have special structure. It dipped really low in February of this year, and then it's bounced. It doesn't have anything special about it. But if there's major fundamental announcements and it's suddenly going to start rolling out PR, it could scream up. It just doesn't technically have anything particularly noteworthily positive about it. And it's got a shooting star at the moment. So it traded up at 8.5 and it's down at 6.8, and it looks like it's had a bit of a blow-off type top from its pump. Binance, guys, Binance, and then maybe ADA to follow it in time. But maybe before that, you've got to worry and watch. This is the key message of this trip. We don't want to talk vaccines and get into scamdemics in here. We want to talk crypto. The risk you have now with Bitcoin, the risk you have with Bitcoin is it going to keep going up, taking out the all-time high, or is it going to form a macro continuation pattern? If it's the second one, that means you will turn around and you'll start to come back down. And it has a rising wedge structure at the moment, which has me believe it could sell off a little bit and start showing more topping behavior now that it's got close to the 59,500. It could come off to 55. It could come down to 54K. And during that period, again, your alts will be put on ice. The strongest will still hold their structure, and even on certain days might even make some ground and then give up some ground. The weaker ones that are less good, and this is where selection comes in, will spoil their structures and be dragged down by Bitcoin and possibly Ethereum. So we will know only if we get a downside move out of this, of some momentum out of this falling rising wedge, or alternatively, if we trade through the high at 61,800 odd. That is your big threat. So don't celebrate too much now. You're in the good, because if you've added too much along the way, you should take some off now and right size. I'm here to keep you in the game. You will get opportunity to buy again. Sometimes you think, I don't want to take out, I'm making money, I would have more tomorrow. Not if Bitcoin and Ethereum come off. Not if you're oversized. Do not be oversized. Trim your size. Make sure you see the whole move through. You've got to play the whole game. Don't be too big in the first 5 minutes. It's like running a marathon and sprinting the first mile and then being gassed out and not finished. Much better to finish, even if you just get a top 10 medal. That's fine. It's good. It's gold. Okay, good. Guys, thanks for coming on. It's Crypto Sniper, the free mini series below. There's 559 of you, 317 likes after 1 hour and 20. Free mini series below. It says free trading course. Grab it. Watch it. You'll get a video every day. You will learn something, whether you're an investor or a trader, how to trade, technicals, fundamentals, mindset. Mindset. You lose the game on psychology and your emotions overriding. I'm trying to contain your emotions when you've gone up. Then defending what you will potentially earn and what you've already possibly earned. The sooner you get protective cover, the sooner you're the dog that isn't got his balls hanging out the back for the government to come and boot. Support at the Market Sniper. Help protect wealth in the subject heading line. Thank you for checking on. Everything else, thanks for your coin suggestions. We've had a look at some of them. We still like what we like best. We haven't seen anyone's overriding you. By the way, I think BitTorrent came out of one of the streams here, so thank you for making me look at it. I tip my hat and I give gratitude to you for making me see something I hadn't yet seen. And Hex is going to look good. Yes, indeed. Still looking good. Lots of other good things going on. And I will catch you again later on the future streams. Thanks for joining and having a chat. Thanks for the birthday wishes for HVF Method. And we appreciate you. I'm turning in for a quick movie and a sleep. All the best to you all. Bye.